Morning, May 31st, 2020. Heard about in the news this morning about violence and protests turning into violence, curfews throughout the country. People are upset, they're outraged, trying to find some wisdom, maybe be able to talk about it. What I turned back to was a letter issued by Pope Paul VI, who's now a saint in the Catholic Church. He wrote this for the World Day of Peace on January 1st, 1972. His title was, If You Want Peace, Work for Justice. What I'm reading is an excerpt that's on the Vatican website. For this reason, we think it's extremely important to have an exact idea of peace and to divest it from the false concepts which too often surround and thus deform and distort it. We say this to the young first of all. Peace is not a stagnant condition of life which finds it at the same time both its perfection and its death. Life is movement, growth, work, effort, and conquest. Things such as these. Is this what peace is like? Yes, for the very reason that it coincides with the supreme good of man as he makes his way through time, and this good is never attained totally, but is always being newly and inexhaustibly acquired. Peace is thus the central idea, giving its driving force to the most active enthusiasm. But this is not to say that peace coincides with force. This we say especially to men in posts of responsibility, since it is their interest and their duty to see that relations be normal between the members of a given group, a family, a school, a firm, a community, a social class, a city, a state. Their constant temptation is to impose by the use of force such normal relations as bear the appearance of peace. This ambiguous character of the social life which follows is torture and corruption for human spirits. A life of pretense is the atmosphere resulting sometimes from an inglorious victory, and at other times from an irrational despotism, from a coercive repression, or from a balance of permanently opposing forces, which are usually on the increase as they wait for a violent outburst, which by devastation of every sort shows how false was the peace imposed only by the superiority of power and force. Peace is not treachery. Peace is not a lie made into a system. Much less is it a pitiful totalitarian tyranny, nor is it in any way violence, though at least violence does not dare to approach itself the noble name of peace. It is difficult but essential to form a genuine idea of peace. It is difficult for one who closes his eyes to the innate institution of it, which tells him that peace is something very human. This is the right way to come to the genuine discovery of peace. If we look for its true source, we find that it is rooted in a sincere feeling for man, a peace that is not the result of true respect for man is not true peace. And what do we call this sincere feeling for man? We call it justice. A true sincere feeling for man. This is what everyone needs. May God bless us all.